All right, we're live. All right, this video is meant for a friend of mine who recently opened a nail salon, and she got a couple of questions about how to go about her taxes and her bookkeeping. She just wanted like overall tips. I might do a couple of videos that are more in depth about software, taxes, tax forms, or simply the systems that you can use for your daily transactions, your giving receipts to your clients, and all that kind of stuff. But right now, I just want to go over a couple of tips and things that you shouldn't be missing or you should be aware of before before you're moving forward with your business, especially if it's your first year in business. All right. So let's go over the 5 things that I had. There's 5 tips that I want to give you, and the first tip that I want to go on, and let's just dive right into it. The first tip that I want to give you, if you have a very small business, you are a freelancer, you have a side hustle, you just have something that is small and it's probably just you, like you're a sole proprietor, or maybe you have an LLC, but it's just you. All right. I want to emphasize that, like, there's no payroll or anything more fancy or anything more formal. All right. So let's go to the first couple of tips that I want to give you, so you can keep your accounting and your books in order, and you have a very easy time when tax season comes. All right. So the first thing that I want to tell you is that you got to do your best, and ideally, you don't ever do this, but I know businesses, I know small business, you all do this, but try to avoid it the most as you can, and that is try to keep your business expenses and your personal finances apart. Like, you want to have a separate card, bank account, or whatever for your business, and that is completely separate to your personal finances or to your personal banking. And do not mix them up. Like, don't use your business card for personal expenses, and do not use your personal card for business expenses. Um, I'm sure there's going to be times that you cannot avoid it. I mean, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes, like when I buy some electronics and I ended up wanting to use them for my business. Well, I bought it initially for me or for personal use, but or I just when I go, I'm not carrying the business card with me, so I just pay with my card, and I can do a separate video for how to account for that type of expenses. But overall, you want to make sure that you're not mixing funds, personal funds and business funds. And if you can, even if you are like a sole proprietor, you don't have an LLC, you don't have an entity or anything, you can still try to get a separate card or a business card. All right, and try to keep everything separate. The worst case scenario is when you use a personal card to receive payments from clients. It's fixable, but ideally try not to do it anymore. All right. Number 2, this is the second tip that I want to give you, is to try to track your daily sales and expenses, both of them. This is incredibly important, especially if for my friend who has a nail salon. If she's taking, and I didn't ask this question to her, but if she's taking cash payments, that is, oh my god. If she's only taking credit card payments or like ACH or that kind of stuff, that's gonna reflect on her bank statement at the end of the month. That's not that big of a deal because we can account for all of income on the bank statement. But if you're taking cash payments, or even worse, checks, money orders, and you're not cashing them during the same month, I mean, that creates all type of problems because income that you already had is not going to be reflected on your bank account. So you got to make sure that you can account it for that month that you received it. So yeah, please make your best. You can either write it down, you can have a cash register, you can put it on a spreadsheet, but try to keep track of all your sales and expenses on a daily basis, weekly basis at the most extreme case, but ideally daily. And in her case, I will expect her to do it daily. It's not that big of a deal. Just on a notebook, write down how much you were paid and was it in cash, what's the date that you received the money, and maybe you want to put a little bit of a description of the service that you did or the name of the client, doesn't matter. But yeah, try to keep track of those daily sales and expenses in any way. It doesn't have to be like in a software like QuickBooks Online or anything like that. Anything more complicated is going to take more of a learning curve, and it's not going to be necessarily worth of your time. You can just write it down in a spreadsheet or in a notebook, but ideally in a spreadsheet, so it's easier for you to keep track of it. Tip number 3. This has to do with taxes at the end of the month. All right, to make your tax return a little bit easier for your tax preparer, to your CPA, to anyone who's going to be doing your taxes. All right, and this is going to shorten it, the amount of back and forth that you're going to have with your CPA. and that is to all income and expenses, try to put either a category or a description of what it is. All right, because ideally what we want to know is this money, is this rent, is this supplies, is this marketing, is this office expenses, um is this like a computer for your business, like what we will call fixed assets. So we want to know what type of expense it was. So first we know it's a business expense, but second we know where to put it on your tax return. And third, in case of you're buying some equipment or chairs or tables for your office, we know that is something that you can depreciate over time. So we want to make that differentiation between expenses and long long-term assets or fixed assets, if you will. But yeah, just in that spreadsheet or in that notebook that you're going to be writing down your daily expenses and your daily sales, just try to put a category, brief category of what it is that it's very, anyone who reads it is going to immediately know what it is. All right. Fourth tip is going to be to use affordable tools. So look, you don't have to jump into QuickBooks Self-Employed. You don't have to jump into QuickBooks Online, in which I don't know, Advanced, Plus, whatever it is. You don't have to jump into all of those things. You can use it when your business is a little bit more sophisticated, especially when you need payroll, like when you're gonna have an employee. But in the meantime, while it's just you don't really need an accounting software. I mean, you could do it. It might save you time, but the problem is that the learning curve. You're probably not gonna be able to afford a bookkeeper. Bookkeeper is gonna be anywhere between $300 or $250 to $1,000, and for less than that, I don't think a bookkeeper will want to spend their time doing that for someone first for a business that is so small. So it's going to be way easier for you to just write it down and enter a category or a description the way I just mentioned it before, and that's going to be super easy for your CPA to do your taxes, and that's going to be very understandable books for you. And if your business ever scales to a point where you start to need more sophistication, you need payroll, you start to need more complicated reports that you can generate on QuickBooks Online or any other accounting software, you can very easily import the previous information that you had on your spreadsheet or on your notebook. All right, so it's not that big of a deal. The learning curve again is not probably not worth your time. You focus on making the money and to be a little bit of administrative responsible. And the fifth tip that I want to give you is to set money aside for taxes, because what we don't want is that you make money on your first year, you're profitable, and all of a sudden around March, all of your profits are eating because you need to pay for your taxes, you know? So what we want to do is that we want to know, okay, you're going to have to pay taxes by the end of the year. Start saving a little bit of money every month or every 2 months or whatever you want to do it. But start saving a little bit of money for taxes at the end of the year. We don't want you using a credit card or anything like that or a loan to pay your taxes. Please just set some money aside. Even you can even put it on a savings account or something like that. And at the end of the year, you're gonna have the money to pay your taxes. So that's what I want to do. I don't want you to be in the situation that a lot of people are, where they have to get a loan or a credit card or line of credit or whatever it is, to pay their taxes because they were not ready to pay, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000 in taxes, $15,000 in taxes at the end of the year. So just set aside a little bit every month, and you're gonna be there very easily. It's gonna be smooth. All right. So those are the 5 main tips that I want to give to any micro business, any freelancer, anyone who has a side hustle. Those are the 5 tips that are going to make your life so much easier. You can dive into the details of each of the things that I said, especially the ones that come with taxes. But I mean, at that point, it's better to just go to your CPA. This is going to make your life and your CPA's life easier, and it's going to ensure that you are very organized with your business, and you're only paying your fair share and not a penny more of taxes. All right. All right. I hope this video is helpful for you, and take care. Stick around if you want to see more videos like this. Bye bye.